Today I'm watching Dark Shadows episode 211. I saw all the comments on the previous video about how it wasn't the first episode, and I apologize. I started at episode 210 on the platform that I'm watching it on. Episodes 1 through 200 are on a different section called Dark Shadows the Beginning, so I didn't see that, so I started on episode 210, which also from the comments sounds like that's the place to start. And I did read through the comments and got a little bit of background information about Victoria going to work for the Collins family, that the show is set in Maine, and that there's also a 90s version of Dark Shadows which has fewer episodes. So let me know if you want to see a reaction video to that. The previous episode, Willie had been paid off. He was supposed to leave, but then goes to this mausoleum crypt situation and opens a tomb he's not supposed to open, and what I can only assume is a vampire inside. We just saw the hand reach up, dramatically and grab him, and then the episode ended, so I have no idea where we're gonna go in this episode. It's definitely a soap opera, but I'm enjoying it and curious to see where we're gonna go in this episode. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies or TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content.
Surely is taking place.
Okay, cold open right back to, cracking this thing open. Oh my god, it was locked for a reason, sir! Don't open it up! I wasn't expecting it to pick up right where we left off. That's interesting. Yeah, because it was such a quick cut when the episode ended. Yes! Oh my god. That looks like a real house. I'm not sure if they would have used like miniatures or anything, or if this is a real location, but yeah, let me know.
Sure.
Collinsport offers very little entertainment for a man like your friend Willie.
Yeah, they definitely seem very remote and isolated.
I can imagine him leaving without any fond farewells, but not without the money.
Yeah, he definitely wanted the money, so...
Every place conceivable.
Well, I suggest you look for him in a few inconceivable places.
It's inconceivable! I don't think it means what you think it means. For a second, I thought she was just walking into the window. I was like, where's she going?
So, you're asking me to look for someone and bring him here, just to send him away again.
I mean, he does have a point.
I know, but how can I be sure?
Because you have my word for it.
Your word?
Yes, my word.
She's like, but you also said he would leave last night, so...
I haven't said a word to anyone about our agreement.
What's their agreement?
Your services. And our agreement was that you were never to return to Collinwood.
Oh, he was supposed to stay away, okay.
His room later in the day.
He'll be gone by then?
I'm sure he will.
Dun, 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 dun.
He's gone.
I think he's long gone, just not in the way you think.
He apparently needed tools for some reason.
Yes, of course.
To break into the mausoleum, perhaps?
Particular instance, I'm not so sure.
Cue the dramatic music. Yeah, and I remember seeing in the comments as well about how frequently the show would be on and just like the quick turnaround per episode.
Prove of the things that he was interested in, but sometimes I like telling him things.
What is this? What does this mean? What is she talking about?
Family things.
She's like, I told him all our family secrets. I didn't approve of him at all, but, I'm telling him our secrets.
Family history.
Well, now, that's a whole new facet of my friend.
Why would he be so curious about it? Yeah.
What his name was, who he was.
It's a portrait of Barnabas Collins, isn't it?
Barnabas. Okay.
And Willie was sorry.
So it seems. Maybe there's good left in him yet.
We did see him looking at that portrait in the previous episode as well.
One way or the other, I've known Willie to, have strange fancies before.
Strange fancies indeed.
About that portrait.
What?
It's a pity to say it, but it's the truth. The jewels.
Yeah, he wanted to steal it for money. Yeah, of course. He thought that jewelry was worth money.
He was very interested in the legend. Not that I believe in legends.
Joan.
Oh, that some of the Collins family had their jewels buried with them.
Yep, hence the grave robbing, or breaking into the tomb. Yeah.
Oh, now what was that one?
Well, she was given jewels by a pirate, and she wore them to
A pirate? How fun.
Eagle Hill. Why did you want to know?
Curiosity.
He's like, and that's where Willie's gonna be. Yep.
Many people curious about such things.
Oh, yes, I agree with you.
Great detective work, sir. Now go get him. Put it together. Come on, you can do it. Willie's asking about jewels and didn't take his money.
Who's there? Who's there?
I mean, you're talking to ghosts, sir. You're asking for trouble for sure.
I can feel it in the air.
I'm worried about this guy. He senses evil already.
Criminal.
What do you mean by that?
He pretended to be someone he wasn't.
Yeah, he probably lied and said he was a family member or something, and yeah.
Will you please tell me what he did?
Yes. Come with me.
Careful what you wish for. I wouldn't go in there.
He's done.
Oh, I don't see anything.
Don't you see the door is open?
Yeah, I broke in, obviously. Yeah, come on.
The dead, asleep and at peace.
And is that all?
He doesn't seem concerned at all.
Can't you feel it?
No. No, I can't say that I do.
This guy's like, I'm trying to tell you something bad's going on. Why aren't you listening?
Nothing that profane, but the dead were disturbed, I can tell.
This guy spent too much time in a cemetery, I think.
Well, supposing I just take my chances.
They never listen to the warnings. Never.
Supposed to be buried with all of her jewelry.
That's the question he asked me. The man
Yeah, he's not very subtle, this Willie character. Not very subtle at all.
Can't be helped.
Can't you feel anything in the air?
I can't even feel the air.
Tell him he must never come here again.
Well, I was just telling you that he wasn't the one that was shit.
Like, we're just talking in circles. Nobody's listening. And is he gonna see that it's, oh, his cigarette that he left? Yeah. Will this be the clue? Will he finally believe it? Yeah, and obviously they don't see, like, the secret passage or anything, so, like, they're like, well, if he's supposed to be here, why can't I see him? Like, other than the cigarette.
And now, if you'll excuse me.
I always have.
These two, so petty, I love it.
Well, I don't like this Mr. Loomis disappearing like that. I think something's wrong, and I don't like it.
Yeah, like, they said he was gonna leave, but now they also can't find him.
I don't want to be disturbed. But let me know if Mr. Loomis turns up.
Yes, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I think they're more worried about him returning unexpectedly than where he's actually gone, because they obviously want to get rid of him.
Nobody hangs up a thing around here.
Oh my gosh. I also think she knows more than she's letting on.
Yes.
Then perhaps you'd do me the courtesy to inform Mrs. Stoddard that her cousin is calling and wishes to pay.
Our cousin, okay. And we don't get to see their face.
Yes, her cousin from England.
Okay.
Please, come in.
I'd be delighted, thank you.
The mystery, curious indeed.
Oh, madam, if you would, you may tell her that it's Barnabas Collins.
Yes, I was gonna say, it looks exactly like him in the picture. Oh my god. Woo! Spooky. Barnabas is home. So it's my first time watching Dark Shadows episode 210. I liked this episode. It definitely had that classic soap opera feel. You can tell that the way that they're framing the shots, you know, one actor is kind of just waiting in the background, like we had with Mrs. Johnson, where she's, oh, I'm going to wait till this character leaves and then I'm going to move into position and, you know, continue my conversation. And again, reading through some of the comments on the previous episode, just the consistency of the episodes, how frequent they were, and yeah, that is a tall order. And it also, I believe someone mentioned it was single camera. which would make sense for the time, but also just the maneuvering that's required for that a lot of that work is happening in camera as opposed to, oh, a second camera is going to pick up so-and-so's character, but all of those, coordination and pieces happening live is interesting and almost feels like theater, like that's not something we would typically see today. And especially with how frequently they had to push out these episodes, if they were every day, then they probably didn't have a lot of time to rehearse or anything like that, and probably had, very tight deadlines. So that is an insane schedule. I'm not envious of that at all. But yeah, it's interesting to see how that plays out. And there was a couple scenes where it almost felt like Victoria was forgetting her lines, and then it was like, oh, I remember now. Like there was a pause where there shouldn't have been a pause. I don't mean this in a negative way at all. It's just an observation. And again, if it's live, like they had some pretty lengthy dialogue scenes, so I'm not holding it against them at all. It's just, again, an observation. This episode we pick up, with the aftermath of Willie's quote-unquote disappearance. I fully think that thing that came out of the tomb, this vampire creature, ate him. I definitely think that we don't see Willie again. To see them try and figure out what happened to him, more in the sense of they don't want him to come back and they want to actually confirm that he's left, because his stuff is still here, his money is still here, and through the housekeeper we find out what questions he's been asking. Same with the caretaker, at the mausoleum, similar types of questions. He obviously was going after the jewels. He was very motivated by money and wanted to add grave robbing to his list of things that he's done, and was hoping to get the jewels and all these things that would be very valuable. And, to have that scene continue into the start of this episode was interesting. Because it was such a quick cut at the end of the last episode, the credits rolled just as, he touched his throat, and to have that play again was interesting. And we obviously meet Barnabas in this episode as he walks in and, stands right by his portrait and immediately is like, tell her Barnabas Collins is here. And this episode, I think, helped establish the long history of the family, because her cousin from England, he doesn't even try and hide his name. The housekeeper openly says that they think he died in England, so if he's dead, how is he returning? And this portrait obviously looks like it was done a while ago. I think in the previous episode they mentioned that it was 200 years ago or something, so how is that possible? But yeah, looks the exact same, is almost wearing similar clothing, standing right next to his portrait, so there's no possibility for interpretation. He's literally just look at that, look at me, my name is Barnabas. So the audience isn't missing anything like that. And I'm assuming Victoria would know the history of her family, maybe not that far back, because I'm anticipating in the next episode we'll get some kind of reunion. They'll meet, that she would be suspicious of why he's here. He's not even changing his name. And yes, being a relative could look similar to the picture of Barnabas, but he's not even trying to pretend to be somebody else. And, if you're going back to visit this relative, 200 years later, maybe they wouldn't know. Maybe they don't know their family tree that far back. But yeah, there's the housekeeper knows. There seems to be this legend of the family. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how that interaction's gonna go. Again, I'm assuming we'll have them introduced to each other in the next episode. It doesn't seem to be a lot of time jumps. Everything is happening very succinctly and picking up right where they left off. And it was interesting to have him at the door with his back to the camera. I'm assuming to build the suspense for when we finally reveal who he is, standing by the portrait with him, just talking to Mrs. Johnson. We can hear a little bit of an accent in his voice, but we don't see his face, obviously, because again, I'm assuming they want that reveal, for the last piece of the episode. To see Jason play detective and trying to figure out these clues, and goes to the exact spot that Willie was in, but it's well, I couldn't have been here, because of course he's walking around, he's not seeing anything there. And the classic, warning that the characters always ignore, with this caretaker being like, can't you smell the evil in the air? Something's not right. And Jason just completely dismissing it and not giving it any, attention. He doesn't think it's serious. He's but then when he finds a cigarette, I think it kind of ties Willie to that spot, because he's well, anybody could have broken the lock. Why are you assuming it's automatically him? And they're he was here asking questions about it. So, I mean, that would probably indicate that he wanted to get in there, and obviously wasn't a family member, didn't have a key or anything. So And it's at a cemetery that's not even near where the rest of the family is. Like, it's a very specific place you'd have to know about. And even, Mrs. Johnson explaining that that's kind of like a hidden, fact. Not very many people know about it. So it was definitely interesting to learn more about the family's history through her, explaining it to Jason. She explains that Willie was asking about the tool shed and like getting tools to obviously break into the mausoleum. Like, I'm curious if we ever will see Willie again, what Jason's response to that is going to be, if he was turned into a vampire, because again, I'm assuming that creature in the coffin was a vampire, because how else would it be alive for so long? And that it probably attacked Willie, maybe it turned him into a vampire, I don't know, maybe it killed him, no idea. But yeah, I'm curious to see if we'd ever see his character again. It would feel like a very, soap opera trope for him to show up, randomly. And again, his things are there and his money is there, so he would have a reason to go back. But yeah, I'm curious to see where his character's going to go, if we're ever going to see him again. I suspect right now that whatever was in the coffin is in fact Barnabas, because it feels like they had the same ring, like the hand when he was, grabbing his neck. I feel like the ring on the hand was the exact same ring we saw in the portrait. That's my guess right now. And it also feels very suspicious that just, the previous episode, this creature comes to life, and now we get a random visitor, this cousin of the family who just randomly showed. Like, that's my hunch right now. They haven't outright said that, obviously, and also Barnabas is supposed to be dead because he's 200 years old, so to me that feels like an obvious connection, that Barnabas was the one from the grave that possibly killed Willie. But given the way that they introduced Barnabas standing next to his portrait, I'm not expecting a lot of like subtlety in the show. I am expecting it to be fairly predictable, but I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Maybe those words will come back to bite me. We'll see. But yeah, just given the format we've seen so far, and predictable doesn't always mean bad. It's still enjoyable. It can still be fun and entertaining. But in my head anyway, it seemed pretty obvious that Barnabas was the one in the coffin, the hand reaching up with the jewels in the portrait, standing next to the portrait saying his name. And where else would a random stranger come from? And again, he's supposed to be dead. That's why there's a portrait of him. Like, he's a family history, like it isn't, oh, this is kind of Barnabas. And they openly say in this episode as well that he died in England. So if he's dead, what's he doing walking through the front door? So yeah, again, that's my working theory. We'll see where the next episode goes, but that makes the most sense to me. That feels the most obvious. Curious to see where we're going to go in the next episode. I could see how this would be addicting and you just want to watch an episode after another and just binge it, especially with them being shorter episodes as well, and there not really being a time jump in between. Like, they pick up right where the last one left off. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies or TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. For a second, I thought she was just walking into the window. I was like, where's she going? What's their agreement? To break into the mausoleum, perhaps? She's like, I told him all our family secrets. I didn't approve of him at all, but, I'm telling our secrets. Strange fancies indeed. I mean, you're talking to ghosts, sir. You're asking for trouble for sure. I was gonna say, it looks exactly like him in the picture.